welcome to Mondays with Mondainé. And I'm E.D. Mondainé. Why are we here in the present? What is our purpose? What is our goal? What have we been created for? You know, a good friend wrote an article just the other day, and one of the things that he asked was, why are we looking for like buttons, and is that our claim to fame? Is that what we aspire to every day, to get up and say something profound that somebody can like you? What's more important? Is it the present or is it the past? What kind of person are you? And what position in life do you want to really be in? I figured something out. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that most of us don't hear because we really don't like to listen. We want to hear what we want to hear, and it has to move in line with our desire. You know, as a preacher, I hear a lot, I can't hear from God. And then I sometimes ask the question, well, does God hear from you? And usually when we talk to God or anybody else, it's usually to say, this is what I want. It always makes me feel good, and it always makes me smile when somebody calls to say, I've called to be a blessing to you today, or I just really want to be a blessing to you today. You know, I was in Canada just the other day, and I was in a Rexall store there, and this lady just comes out of nowhere, and she says, you look so fabulous. And I said, really? Me? Out of nowhere. And I just, it took me from 0 to 100 in terms of attitude, and it made me smile. You know, I was riding down the street recently, a few months ago, and this is kind of like who I am. I I saw this older woman, and she must have been 80 or so, and she was so cute, and she was dressed so chicly, and her stride was real, you know. And I said to her, baby, you still got it. And she looked at me and said, really? And I said, really? Do you know what that does to people when you can just stop and be who you are? I wonder if we learn how to be who we are, we really might like ourselves. And if we like ourselves, I think that we could find room to like other people as well. You know, I'm learning something about life and how it motivates us. And most of us are motivated by emotions, or we're moved by emotions, and they're good emotions. There's joy, there's happiness. I wonder if happiness is really an emotion, or is it a state of being? But joy is an emotion, I know that. And those are good emotions. There are even emotions in us that motivate us to cry, because it moves us to a place of compassion. You know, when you're looking at movies and there's a sad story on and something happens and it just kind of hits you in the right place, that's emotion of compassion, empathy, passion. Wow. Those are good things. But there's also some bad emotions. And a lot of us listen to those emotions, emotions of guilt. Guilt buys us a lot. You know, we make other people feel guilty in relationships that they're not doing exactly what you want them to do, but you're not doing what they want you to do either, because you always want, and you always want to get but never give. How does that work for you? I don't know. Guilt about the stuff that you've done in your life, whether it was deliberate. At the moment, you must have thought it was a good idea. And there is mental illness, of course, that drives us to places that we do things that really are not us. But that really wasn't you see. It was the state of being that you're in. And how do I really deal with that? Well, I become the best that I can be while I can be it. Right now, not tomorrow. And it's not about what I should have done last night, it's what I've done today. And what I'm aspiring to do once I leave here. I might go next door to Poshines and have a bowl of grits. There's something else that I need to remind us of, that nothing can be done about the past. We can't undo our past mistakes, but we can learn from and hear what they teach us. Acceptance of wrongdoing and repentance is critical, and you can't avoid that. You can't sidestep it. You've got to sit in it. You've got to look at it. You've got to look into it. Then you've got to lean into it. And then you've got to ask yourself, what is it that I could have done differently to make that moment better? It's moments like this I like to say a little thing that I learned when I was a kid. Betty bought some butter, but the butter Betty bought was bitter, so Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. We always got to make the bitter butter better. And then again, what's wrong with the idea of just throwing out the old butter and making some new butter? But making new butter is hard work because it's milk, and you've got to churn it. You've got to put some effort into it to make it butter. So there's some things that we need to do. We need to either make our old butter better, or just plain and simply make some new butter. In doing so, and when we learn from our mistakes and hear from them, the power becomes yours to propel forward. Now you have the power. See, you move beyond the guilt and the shame and laid on power, the power that's in you. The power of positive thinking, the power of sharing love, the power of feeling the emotion of gratitude, of compassion. It becomes yours to propel you forward and make you different from what you've learned. Babies, beloved, sweethearts, darlings, dear, sugar, spice, everything nice. It's really important that you be yourself and find that part of yourself that is most ingratiating. I believe that that's where the power of our existence, the reason that we are born, has its birth. It doesn't make any difference whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, or whether you're Hindu or a Jew, or whether you're black or white, or none of those things really make the difference. What makes the difference is you find yourself in the real you. That thing that makes you a contributor. Something that causes you to give and not just take. Well, I think I've said enough for tonight. And I hope that I've said something that makes you think. And I'm going to hope also that when I was talking about the like buttons earlier, that you stop and hit the like button, and that you subscribe, and that you comment, and that you share. And the reason I'm asking you to do that, to like and to subscribe and to comment and to share, is because I want to know that what I'm doing right now is the best of myself. And I really want to know that if what I'm speaking about right now is interesting to you. It's interesting to know what our part is in life. And we can't know what our part is if we're not really interested in living. And it is always important to play your part. And in playing your part, you need to do what's best for your community, for our God and the country that we live in. This is E.D. Mondainé, and I want to thank you for joining me on Mondays with Mondainé. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again right here, the same spot, the same station. Look, kudos to my team. These guys are awesome, and I appreciate the love. Bye-bye now.
In times gone past, we find ourselves making excuses.